In the words of Edward, you're like a drug to me. You're like my own personal brand of heroin. But instead of heroin, we're talking movies here. In fact, the top 5 best and worst movies. We're just going to jump right into it, starting with number 5, Oppenheimer. Are you shocked it's here? No. This film was 3 hours, and you know you have yourself a banger. If I could have really sat down and watched another 3, it's a film that explores the dark side of technology. With stunning visuals, and not to mention, it's got some really interesting deep history. So much so, you could be watching this during class. And the teacher, if they caught you on your phone, would just assume that you're watching homework to study for a scholarship. If you want the full review, I'm going to link all these right up here for you. My buddy and I talked for about an hour or so about this one. But if you haven't seen it, bring the boys over, pop some brewskis, and talk about the fragility of light. Number 4, coincidentally, is Godzilla Minus One, which takes place directly after the bomb made in Oppenheimer. Obviously, the one in real life. But not only is this a picture-perfect example of a monster movie, the main plot has always been my main complaint. Just boring characters that you don't care about, to where all I'm thinking for that hour and a half is, let's just get to the good part. But this film has some of the best interactions with those people. The main character was a failed kamikaze pilot that couldn't go through with his mission, which just leads into so many other things that I found really interesting. That's not to mention this film had a tiny budget for a Godzilla project, especially considering it's one of the best looking films of the year. If you guys haven't seen The Boy and the Heron, you are missing out. The art style might look familiar here. That is because at least every single human being alive has at one point seen a Studio Ghibli film. Kiki's Delivery Service, Ponyo, My Neighbor Totoro, easy. Now, it's not just beautiful visuals. Oddly enough, the first thing I can compare the story to would be something like Labyrinth, just because it starts off slow, but then so many things just happen all at once. I'm not going to spoil it at all, but please go out and watch this masterpiece. The dub cast is phenomenal. Don't look up the cast. You will not know who Robert Pattinson is. And if you by any chance haven't seen any of the studio's films, start with this one. You'll be hooked to watch the rest of them. Number 2 and 1 were so tough, but Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is a god-tier movie, well deserving of a number 1 spot. But as it stands, in my opinion, it would not be fair. As the second half of the movie is coming out later this year, the story itself hasn't actually wrapped up. So I only want to truly rate it as a potential movie of the year once it's all in one little bundle package. But that doesn't mean I can't put it on number 2. Every second of this film, even the slow ones where they're just talking, is filled to the brim with visuals, pop art style, the sound design, everything in this movie is just pure emotion. What really got me with this one is how they utilize all of the different Spider characters. You're introduced to like double the cast of the first one, and while still using most of the cast from the first one, the story is only that much more enhanced. There's no clutter. If you're a fan of animation or Marvel just in general, I don't need to tell you to go see it because you already have. And guys, the best movie of 2023 is, drumroll, The Flash. Guys, the scene where Batman kills himself after explaining the multiverse is like spaghetti, just really tugged on my strings. Okay, no. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is without a doubt the best movie of the year. We got the soundtrack, the humor, the crazy visuals, but none of that's important. Let's just wrap that up, throw it out the window. The characters that we have spent nearly a decade carefully crafting, along with every story of each of the film, has gone through its own emotion. Like, I can't tell you the last film where I walked out of the theater just kind of like staring at a wall, with every shot and scene still pummeling on my brain. I don't think I've felt that since the final climax of Toy Story 3. It was a terrific way to end off James Gunn's run at Marvel, and easily the best Marvel film since No Way Home. Now, is this the perfect list? Yes. Am I biased whatsoever? A little. Let me know what you guys think. Do you agree? If you want a more in-depth look at each one of these movies, I have every single review right up here for you. And I'll see you guys for the top 5 worst movies of 2023.